Welcome. The Municipality of Anchorage Platting Board Authority will now come to order. It is May 3rd, 2017. It is 6:30 p.m. This Platting Board meets each month on the first and third Wednesday, except holidays, as regular meetings. If we fail to complete our agenda for a regular meeting, we'll carry it over to the next agenda. The procedure by which the public may speak to the Platting Board at this meeting is after staff presentation is complete on public hearing items, I will ask for public testimony. Persons who wish to testify will follow time limits established in the Commission Rules of Procedure. Petitioners have 10 minutes. They may reserve part of their time for rebuttal. Representatives of groups, community councils, and PTAs have 5 minutes. Individuals have 3 minutes. When your testimony is complete, the board may ask you questions. You may only testify once on an issue unless the board asks questions. At this point, may we have roll call?
Mr. Young?
Present.
Mr. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Cross?
Present.
Mr. Seward?
Present.
Ms. Ritz?
Present.
Ms. Welton?
Present.
Mr. Edmondson, Ms. Enix, and Mr. Porter have been excused. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now turn to approvals. We have action summary from Wednesday, April 5th, 2017. I have a motion to approve the action summary. Kevin Cross has moved, and Valerie Ritz has seconded. Is there any opposition to approving the action summary? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes. Next, we'll consider the minutes from Wednesday, April 5th, 2017. May I have a motion to approve the minutes? Dan Young has moved, and Kevin Cross has seconded. Are there any corrections or other items that need to be made to the minutes? Seeing no motion on that, is there any opposition to accepting the minutes as drafted? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes. And we'll now turn to special order of business, and that starts with disclosures. Are there any disclosures for tonight's matter? Seeing no call for disclosures, we will now move to the information.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to disclose that I have special interest, or excuse me, special knowledge of this property or this area. I've studied it, the geology in the past, the hydrogeology in the past. I don't have any conflicts or potential conflicts, just special knowledge.
Thank you. And do you want to have a motion directing you to participate, or are you satisfied with just that disclosure?
I'm satisfied.
Thank you. Are there any other disclosures? Okay, with that, we'll now turn to the information item for April 10, 2017. The record so reflects. We'll now turn to new business and begin with case S12323. May we have staff's presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On December 17th, 1974, Plat 74-252 was recorded for Cindy Lake Subdivision, Block 2, Lots 8A and 8B. As a condition of approval, a temporary open space and drain field easement was added to the plat. Planning staff conducted an analysis of historical documents associated with this plat, but were unable to find written documentation justifying the plat note. However, it is believed that the plat note was approved to provide an adequately sized drain field for the private septic system on Lot 8B. This note limited the owner's ability to develop Lot 8A until public water and sewer was made available. This property is located in southwest Anchorage, generally north of West 84th Avenue, south of West 80th Avenue, east of Endicott Street, and west of Sunday Drive. Due to the high cost of connecting to the closest water utility and technological improvements to private well and septic systems since the plat's original approval, the petitioner has chosen to pursue possible development of Lot 8A. As a measure of development viability, the petitioner has submitted a soil percolation study for the subject property. A professional engineer who conducted the test has affirmed that the subject property can support a private well and septic system that is in compliance with state and municipal regulations. Based upon the results of the submitted soil percolation study and the non-objection of reviewing agencies, the Planning Department recommends removal of this plat note. And just as a note, the petitioner did submit the affidavit of posting after the staff packet was finalized, but a copy has been provided to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for staff? Seeing none, may we have the petitioner's representative?
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Zach Tomko.
How do you spell the last name?
Tomco.
Thank you. Did you want to reserve any of your time for rebuttal?
Yeah, I'll reserve 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Thank you.
So do I just give my case now?
Yes, you may.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. So last year or two, I hired a professional engineer to come help me do a study on my land, and that was to prove that I could remove the temporary drain field easement note on my plat note. And the results came back, and it showed that I can install a septic system with a well according to our municipal separation distances on the lot 8A, and then on lot 8B I can keep my primary drain field and install 2 backup septic locations, each in compliance with the 100-foot minimum separation distance. So I believe that during the time of the property subdivision, like it was already stated, this was unknown, so it's likely that this plat note was generated as to protect the health and safety of people in the future, to say, hey, we can't install a septic system close in proximity to a drinking water well. So the study that's been completed shows that both pieces of land can support septic systems and wells independently of one another. And I'm asking for its removal and saying that the intent of this note has been satisfied.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Tomko? Dan Young.
Yes, through the chair. Do you have the application packet in front of you?
Yep.
On page 11, the engineer provided a map with well radiuses and separation distances. And on lot, it looks like 8A, that's correct?
The house is on 8A, yes.
Okay, it shows...
Oh, no, 8A is the vacant lot, sorry.
Okay, it shows the well radius going out into Endicott Street. Does that impact, it doesn't show if it impacts with anything on the other side of the street? Do you know if...
It does not impact the other side of the street. The Endicott Street is wider than this well is shown.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Tomko at this time? Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, we'll open the hearing to the public. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak? Anyone at all? Seeing no members of the public wanting to speak, I guess you may now use your rebuttal time.
I have no further comments at this point.
Thank you. I have a question again from Mr. Young for you.
Through the chair, do you intend to use a conventional leach field on this or an advanced treatment system?
Conventional.
And the engineer's report shows that a conventional system would work. Did the engineer measure the groundwater gradient to know which way the gradient goes?
We looked at a lot of the other.
Can you have your,
Yeah, could I field that question to the gentleman who completed the study?
yeah, bring him up to the microphone so we can get a good record. Could you please state your name?
Thank you. My name is Dale McCoy.
McQuick?
McCoy,
McCoy.
MCCOY.
Thank you.
And through the chair, my question is, do you know which, did you measure the groundwater gradient, or do you have an idea which way the gradient goes?
No, we looked at the other lots around it and records of the septic systems in the vicinity to determine. So no, in answer to your question, we performed our own perk test in the area. We didn't find groundwater, and we looked at a lot of the other records for the other septic systems.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions for the petitioner? Jana Welton.
It's actually for Dale. Going back to the previous question that asked would this impact the houses on Endicott Street? So you have a note here that says the houses on Endicott Street have their wells towards the front of their property that's facing Endicott. So how in depth did you look at to make sure there's not going to be a negative impact on those?
The wells are all in the general vicinity of each other, so the separation distance aren't going to affect the septic systems or the proposed location for the well on Zach's lot won't affect any of the septic systems on the streets across or the lots across the street.
Okay, great. And just out of curiosity, when did you buy the property?
A little over 3 years ago, or around 3 years ago.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And the matter now rests with the board. May I have a motion to approve removal of the plat note? Dan Young, would you like to please state your motion?
Yes, in the matter of case S12323, I move to remove the removal of the plat note regarding the reservation of the septic system, or reservation of the lot for a septic system.
Okay, and just to restate the motion, I think you're moving to have omitted the plat note that states this easement prohibits owner lot 8A from utilizing any part of said easement for any type of development until such time as public sewer service is available to serve lot 8B.
That's correct, to have that removed.
Right, okay. And Kevin Cross seconds the motion. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, through the chair. I'm familiar with this area. I know the wells to the east are at a deeper aquifer and would not be impacted. The gradient in this area appears to be westward, so that any nitrates or bacteria probably would not impact Sunday Lake. And it appears that using the newer technologies for leach fields, based on the engineer's report and the staff recommendation, that this would be safe and prudent to remove this this plat note.
Thank you. Are there any other additional findings? Kevin Cross.
I also move to support this motion, S12323. Again, to reiterate Mr. Young's comments, the western grade, as well as the proposed well radius, is about 15 feet in from the edge of the property, plus a 60-foot road easement, 10-foot easement on the other side. Placely puts any septic system on the other side of the road outside of 100 feet from the radius of the proposed well location. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other findings? Mark Seward.
Yes. On page 33 of our packet, Deb Walkenfoss, the civil engineer from On-Site Water and Wastewater, doesn't have any issues with this proposal, and that is the department that's in charge of this of the city, and along with the other comments I've heard from the board tonight, I plan on supporting this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional findings? Seeing none, is there any opposition to the motion on the floor? Seeing no opposition, the motion passes. Are there any other persons to be heard tonight? And Secretary would like to make a report that there will be no June meeting as there is no new business. So everyone's supposed to go out and stump for new business. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? Dan Young moves, and Valerie Ritz seconds. Seeing no opposition to the motion, it passes. We are now in adjournment.